Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, and I welcome all of you to International Women's Day, where, even though I am filming this quite late at night, I think it's still kind of worth to get in one really strong, liberating song out of all of this. Now, there's a few things I kind of wanted to say, like, just before we begin with In This Moment, because In This Moment, and I have not listened to this group for years, so I might be a little bit of an issue for me to, like, maybe get in just to remind myself of who technically is involved, but I'm just going to say this absolutely right now, and but I do remember absolutely who is the monstrous voice behind this, Maria. Is it Maria Blink? I'm just gonna do a double check because I need to make sure. Maria Brink. Okay, and it's almost no real surprise that she had like a big hand with Chris Hosworth and Kevin Shuiko just in writing this, because let me tell you sort of like what brought me towards In This Moment already, and there's quite a lot of good reasons for this. Because, okay, In This Moment is one of those metal groups where they will not give a fuck. You know what I mean? If they've got something they want to tell people, they will straight up come out and say it. I think it's fair to say Maria Brink has got, I think, the single largest balls in the whole of metal today, and that's no exaggeration, because among many other things, Maria Brink was also a woman who stopped a concert because a girl went missing during it, and there's something that. And I chose this song "Whore" for International Women's Day for something of a little bit of a there's a pretty good reason behind this, and I'm not, and without wanting necessarily to get in deeply involved in sexual politics, but the thing is that if it's going to be an In This Moment song, I'm going to have absolutely no choice but going to have to get myself involved in sexual politics. So forgive me if there'll be some things I might say later, because anybody who's watched my videos before will know that I will sort of like get into lectures and sort of like tell people honestly about how I think and all that stuff. So don't take. Hopefully, you won't take this the wrong way, because hey, well, let's face it. You're speaking of taking things the wrong way. If you're thinking that calling a song "whore" is pretty out there itself, oh, you have got enough. Wait till you see what's coming next. That's all I'm gonna say. So, if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links for. I need to get myself an In This Moment shirt, and I need to get myself like a size large or maybe a size medium, something like that. In case you couldn't tell, like like the weight is like just it's falling away. So let's get started, shall we? Whore in 3, 2, 1, and. Oh yeah, also also just something else you probably should know right now. The music videos that In This Moment do are almost akin to like a horror film, but it's the sort of horror film you can't peel your eyes away from. Here we got Marilyn Manson.
the girl you're thinking about, the one thing you can live without. Yeah, I'm the girl you've been waiting for. I have you down on your knees, I love you begging for more. You probably thought I wouldn't get this far. You thought I'd end up in the back of a car. You probably thought that I'd never escape. I'd be around in a cage and be enslaved in this place. You don't know how I fought to survive, waking up alone when I was left to die. And you don't know about this life I've led, all these roads I walked, all these stairs I bled. So how can this be? You're praying to me. There's a look in your eyes, I know just what that means. I can be your everything. I can be your heart. I am the star you created. I am the center, I am your heart. But let me tell you something, baby. You love me for everything you hate me for.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You love me for everything you hate me for. Okay, maybe this is the first big thing I want to get out of the way right now. There was I think that I read this like a while ago, that some people really do embrace the things that they get caught. They get called, I should say. And some people just decide to like make it a part of their identity because, well, because there's a thing to say that they've been associated with such and such a thing because of this, that, and the other. Then they'll just go with it sometimes. But with that being said, there's the idea of Maria Brink writing a song about somebody embracing the idea of being called a whore is something. It's almost like kind of unheard of. But let's just go into this like one at a time, shall we? Because you love me for everything you hate me for. Because from the average Joe, a whore is somebody who will sleep around with as many men as possible, with the only intention being that all they want is their money. That is, from the outside world, the definition of a whore, you might say. And certainly to someone like me, and perhaps someone like you as well, I keep forgetting I need to like change the there we go. To someone like you or me, you might think to yourself then, you've got to like stay clear of people who are obviously whores. Somebody who are only after one thing, and that is your money. But with that being said, there then comes this like very weird subversion that a whore is somebody who will degrade themselves, who will debauch themselves, and become so overburdened, overlusted, they will coat themselves in things that are sinful, things that are designed to drag and lure men or women, or women. Let's be fair here. It will drag them basically to ruin, financial, or the end of their life, that sort of thing. In fact, they don't even go ahead and write it here. It says the one you can't live without. What's the line? You probably thought I wouldn't get this far. You thought I'd end up in the back of your car. The idea that they literally can just be bought and then disposed of. Some people literally will go to great lengths to make sure to keep people like that under control because they are a financial asset. As long as there are lonely, desperate people in the world, there are going to be people who are going to exploit their misery, their degradation, by literally debauching them in as much pleasure and sin as possible for maybe not too much amount of money, but enough to get the point across. But then, of course, there's the idea of how can you turn something like a whore into sort of like an empowering figure. Because, let's, again, remember what I said in the beginning about some people like to take it and they embrace it as their identity. But what about the people who are falsely judged based on this? What if, in the eyes of a perpetrator or somebody who has, let's say, very narrow-sided views towards women, will simply say that a woman is basically just like a man, a bag full of organs, except with the means of making children and literally nothing else. So it's one thing for them to, straight up call them whores. It's another thing to treat them like whores. And I could certainly argue on the point of Maria Brink, and it's kind of strange as well the way like her. I don't want to say like her eyeshadow and that it looks smudged, but it's strangely enough, it looks like somebody else did it for her. There you go. That could be a very strange, subtle way, because in fact, again, I'm not even gonna go. I'm gonna go even one further than that. I'm just gonna straight up say that the way that this has been shot, the way that they purposely had a guy going into a burlesque show in the beginning, I think all of this was to emphasize this entire, not just the fact that it's been going on since basically the days of prohibition. Is that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, prohibition, the prohibition era. But not just that, but we're also going like one further, that it's not only still continuing, because it was starting off in black and white and now we've got in glorious HD. And then of course you got these strange, almost violent spectacles of Maria Brink, literally with two bandaged up hands and blood all over her fingers and numbers, like she's literally like just like a number, like saying that whore 312, you have to go to A, B, and C and stuff like that. And the fact that she looks, it's everything about this is meant to be intentional, and that even goes into stuff like I can be your whore, I am the dirt you created. Like I like the idea very much so that it's literally they say that if you could think of the worst thing in the world, somebody out there is doing it right now. And that could, in many other ways, include the idea of building up an idea of a whore in your mind. Somebody who is designed to completely submit to your will and will have every single of, like bodily function, size, proportions, you name it. You can think of it, it will be out there. And that says quite a lot about the way some people like view, because even the idea of like viewing women as just that, as something that we can put onto them, now they have to carry the burden because we have because some people have such crude and abhorrent standards about some people, and we have to imagine there can't be real people like that unless of course we decide that's what we want them to be. So I suppose it's something like in the words of Angela Carter, the worst type of beasts are the ones that are hairy on the inside. Now, first lecture over. Let's continue.
I'm the one that you need and spare. Now that you hooked, it's all becoming clear.
Oh, by the way, also the other thing I was going to mention, because I think I got a little bit too sidetracked, there were also women who will absolutely work not just to completely overturn the idea about how people see them, but there's also something to be said that it wouldn't matter what women would do either way. They could still be viewed like that, which is it's disgusting. It's horrible. Don't get me wrong about that, but some people literally will just. There are some people who literally are just jerks like that on an impulse. Sorry to say, it's just that's how that is. This is the real world, sadly, and the real world is for the good and the bad. The shadows of the dark unknown, he will crawl up on your hiding place and take a look in the mirror. See that all on your face. How can this be? You're crying to me. There's a look in your eyes. Who knows just what that means? I can be your everything.
something, baby. You love me, you want me, you need me. I can be your heart. I am the star you created. I am the center, I am yours. Let me tell you something, baby. You love me for everything, you hate me for. I can be your heart. I can be your heart. I can be your heart. Let me tell you something, baby. You love me for everything, you hate me for. You love me for everything, you hate me for.
How about that right there, ladies and gentlemen? I love the way that ends as well. Now we see the dude in the beginning. Now he looks ragged, bloodied, embarrassed, and now he sits on the high stool, and wearing a dunce's hat. But now he's literally the whore because. But unlike what Maria Brink was showing there is nothing that people will like him now. He is everything that everybody hates, and there is no coming back from that. He is the guy in this is now literally just. Well, what can I say again? It's he has become what everybody hates. He is what I can only describe. He is what they said about you love me for everything, you hate me for. The fantasy made into reality. The reality is, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you begin to again go into the idea that we rub our dirt on other people and expect them to, obey when we click our fingers, that is exactly what they were. That's I think when you think about it, that's like one of the best things I think you could possibly do to it's the best sort of take you could have about addressing about a very derogatory word like that. In fact, but I say derogative because Maria, they do something rather special, and that is they turn whore into an anagram. Women honouring one another, rising eternally, and I like that. They are taking back control. They are rising because they've now decided they're going to take a word which is used to derogative and take a woman down, and now they're going to use it to be as a symbol of empowerment and being very endearing. And then, as we show in the video, they turn on its head so they can make the bloke look dumb and despicable to the whole world. That's that's I think that is that, and so I think that's extraordinary. I really do, because I think part of the reason why I think it's so extraordinary is that one, because it's a very original, it's a very good, even though this was made back in 2013, I think that's a very, very good take. It's something quite okay, you know what, why not? Let's try it like that. Then there's also sort of the thing I'm just a little bit on the middle about. I mean, whilst in this moment, it may be maybe in terms of maybe a solo or something, it kind of, I suppose that's a good point. Is do you think it's important for a song to get its message across, or can it, because there are songs like that could do both things. They could do deliver a message, but also make it into a superb song, with tons of solos, twists, turns at every corner, switch up the melody, bringing in an entirely new tempo as well. Does it seem a little bit, I don't know, with very very run of the mill? I don't think that's the right word I want to use here, but you get what I mean. I don't want to say musically it's anything too special or anything like that, But do you think that's like a minor thing to pick on for what is still a very very good song? That's just the only thing I just kind of like want to say right now, because from what I remember of doing stuff like Adrenalize with By In This Moment as well, is that the music, I can't necessarily say I've listened to an In This Moment song that stands out musically. I'm pretty sure there's, mind you, that being said, I've only listened to about like 4 or 5 of In This Moment songs in my lifetime, so there's probably a lot more to go through. Big Bad Wolf, for example, that could be that could be enough to rival something like Havoc, or goodness knows what, like 3 Days Grace or stuff like that. Maybe I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but then again, you get stuff like Arch, and I probably shouldn't start talking about Arch Enemy again. It's been so long since I've like covered groups like this, then I'm gonna have to like memorize in my head exactly the players involved. But we got stuff like, what was that one? Ginger. That was who I'm thinking about. Ginger, Arch Enemy, Hailstorm, Burning Witches. There is a lot of like female fronted groups, and this isn't just even talking about American and European ones. So there's stuff like Baby Metal, and well, it's more like I think it's more like, okay, getting sidetracked. I'm getting way off topic here. I may as well go into this as well. We'll get into what Maria herself has had to say about it. The message behind the song is taking back control. It is about taking the power from a disgusting and degrading word and turning it back around on the accuser. Well, basically, as I just said there. But okay, we'll move on. We'll move on to something she did give. I am so proud and excited for the world to hear Whore. This is an honest and raw movement that needs to be heard. The message behind the song is taking back control. It is about taking the power from a disgusting and degrading word and turning it back around on the accuser. It's about self-empowerment, love, and liberation. It is about finding our power and taking a stand. We are resilient beings and need to realize our incredible strengths. I will not bow down to others' perceptions of me. Well, you're not wrong there, Marie. I'm not going to judge you at all whatsoever. You see, this is okay. It's women like Maria Brink is the sort of thing that makes me realize, in all sincerity, that's the sort of woman I would listen to. You want to know why I would listen to her? Because she said it herself. What if I can find to it, is that she's not going to bow down. She's not going to stop being herself just because it offends people. I take a lot of pride in I take a lot of pride in those who say, not just say, but do it as well. There's a big difference between saying and doing. And Maria, I think, does it not quite like. I mean, the song is like over 100 million views on YouTube in 8 years. That is a tremendous thing to do. And even if I go down to the comments right now, I think it's going to say pretty much like the same thing as well. I love how the song never gets old. That's something as well. I'll say that. Her voice is so refreshing, not trying to sound like the typical female vocalist. So in love with this woman's rage, it's like she's channeling my soul. That's another good point as well, because how often do you really get to hear like you do get to hear like very aggressive, very, very passionate female singers, especially in rock and metal. Nightwish has done this a couple of times as well, and stuff like Within Temptation especially so. And then you've got stuff like Paramore, and I'm pretty sure there's like Avril Lavigne, and I'm pretty sure there's like a lot of other examples as well. But I think what Maria Brink, like what makes her stand out, like especially, is that she will go. I think it's not so much I think she'll go like, well, she certainly does. She certainly does go the extra mile in what she wants to say, but also I think it's probably for the better that she has, and I think it's probably the better that this is the sort of thing like people should at least consider. you know what? It being International Women's Day, and you know what? This is and don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm saying that I will prioritize people like Maria Brink over other women, especially. That's not entirely the case. But you know what? It's this sort of thing when you begin to realize, you know what? You wouldn't ever want to use the word whore in, like, you know, disgust towards somebody ever again after this, because this is how you make them feel, and this is exactly what they're trying to showcase, is that, well, we're not going to be afraid of that, and we'll turn it right back on you. That's fantastic, if you ask me. And then I'm just going to go ahead and right now and say this. You know what? If 100 million, I think this should be like 10 billion around. I think they need to. I think this message needs to go further. I think more and more people need to, like, check this out, because it's angry. It's full of passion and absolute rage, because I think that's exactly the point. I think Maria's just trying to display this is the kind of shit that women have to go through and put up with, but we're going to show you right now we're not going to be fazed by that anymore. And this does far more for me to respect women than I think quite a lot of the things I see on TV or hear on radio, because you know why? Because it's such a very, very different approach to it, and they're not afraid to use words like. I mean, it's not like I watch like stuff like Question Time and Newsnight and stuff like that. You never hear words like whore or, you know, bitch and that being thrown about because of the certain environment, but it brings out something like especially kind of like powerful when it's done this way. I really wish I had more to say about it, but I can't tell whether I'm just like running out of stuff to say or my ignorance about the sort of things that women go through and what they get called at, catcalled and shit like that. But I'll just say this right now. I'm not going to fuck around with Maria Brink. I wouldn't dream of it. I wouldn't dream around of fucking around with Chris Howarth and... did I say Chris? Yeah, I said Chris Howarth. I wouldn't fuck around with Chris Howarth. I wouldn't fuck around with... just to make sure I'm... The problem is that this stupid wheel, it makes such a horrible noise. Or Kevin Sugar. I would not even just... I think the song just about speaks for itself, and it probably does more for the cause than I think I could possibly do. But I'm glad at least I can put that to the side. So anyway, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of whore for yourselves, and I will look forward to seeing all of you guys in our next video. Take care and good night.